we first encountered Darth Maul in The Phantom Menace, he was little more than a plot device, and an individual there so that our protagonist could have a final duel. Maul had very little, if any, characterization in The Phantom Menace, but he was never meant to have characterization beyond this. As The Phantom Menaces served, Maul was only meant to be the final boss to progress the story of Obi-Wan Kenobi and Qui-Gon Jinn. And even though Maul had some importance behind the scenes of Star Wars, specifically in the plan of the Sith, this is never illustrated in The Phantom Menace. The character of Darth Maul truly began to shine through in Season 4 of Star Wars The Clone Wars, where, with the blessing of George Lucas, Dave Filoni, and the creators of The Clone Wars actually decided to bring Maul back and explore what type of impact the previous years had had on him, and explore what the character and Sith assassin we know as Darth Maul was like before his injuries, but more intriguing and more important, what he was like following. Although he has very few redeeming traits, Maul is hugely sympathetic. We can all relate to a character like Maul. The Clone Wars writers as well as Dave Filoni made a brilliant decision when crafting the characterization of Maul for the Clone Wars. That being that Maul had very little to no characterization in The Phantom Menace, but therefore wanted to make his story integral to the events of that film. And so they had his character focused on his defeat at the hands of Obi-Wan Kenobi, his mental state following the defeat at Kenobi, and more importantly than this, his stance as a Sith Lord. What I mean by this is Darth Maul says several times throughout the Clone Wars that he was apprenticed to the most powerful being in the galaxy at one time. He was meant to rule by the side of Darth Sidious as one of only 2 Sith Lords in existence. Darth Maul was privileged to be selected by Sidious at a time right before the Sith were going to rise in prominence in the galaxy yet again, and gain complete control over the galaxy. And Darth Maul realized and now realizes this fact that stings even more now because of the fact that he's been removed from Palpatine's side. As the Clone Wars series progresses, we slowly realize that it's not actually Kenobi that Maul holds a deep-seated grudge and hatred for. Kenobi is simply the catalyst that began Maul's downfall. The person that Maul truly hates and truly wants to destroy is Darth Sidious, which is made even more tragic as Maul, even within himself, knows that he will never stand a chance against his master. Therefore, all the aggression that he feels towards Sidious is channeled towards Kenobi. I would now like to address the main topic of the video, Dave Filoni's comments on the character of Darth Maul. Previously, we discussed Dave Filoni talking about Maul's death and why it's so tragic, and how in Maul's final moments he's still focused on getting revenge against Palpatine, while Obi-Wan only feels pity for him. In commentary about Star Wars Rebels, Dave Filoni went more in depth of Darth Maul when he returned in The Twilight of the Apprentice in the finale of Season 2, talking about how even though over 15 years have passed since the Clone Wars, he is still hell-bent on revenge, even though the galaxy has given him another opportunity. An opportunity to pursue something beyond revenge and to make something of himself. And yet, why Maul still completely focuses on the idea of getting revenge against those who have wronged him, completely looking backwards instead of forwards. These are Dave Filoni's full comments. Maul saw the world before him as the apprentice to a Sith Lord, and then that would get stolen from him, and he never really recovers from it. He becomes so broken that you would think having his life restored would be something to be thankful for. He just uses the opportunity to try to amass more power though. When he's thrown down again, he's even more broken. His whole aspiration is how to get to the top of that temple, to the top of the pyramid, which is really part of the symbolism of Malachor. Instead of Maul focusing on everything that he's achieved, he's always looking back, always looking for revenge, and that is why Darth Maul always fails. What is so brilliant about the Clone Wars, and again the Phantom Menace, is we never really realized how important the role of a Sith Lord was to Maul. It's his only defining quality in the Phantom Menace, and therefore the Clone Wars writers ran with that. The idea that being a Sith Lord and the perfect Sith assassin means everything to Maul. When we first encounter Maul in the Clone Wars, he has 2 goals. One is to kill Obi-Wan Kenobi, and the other is to legitimize his stance within himself as a Sith Lord, even taking an apprentice in the form of his brother Savage Opress. He wants to be acknowledged by the galaxy, and more importantly, his master as a fully formed Sith. And it is only once he engages Palpatine in the hall in Mandalore that he realizes that this goal will never be a reality. He has been been replaced permanently and will never be able to prove Sidious otherwise. He has been replaced and he is now realizing it. I think that this is the moment that truly breaks Darth Maul. We see in Clone Wars Season 7 that his psyche is beginning to diminish. He's becoming more like the Maul that we see in Star Wars Rebels. He's less calculated, more unbalanced than perhaps ever, besides of course him being cut in half. Dave Filoni also decided to do something brilliant with symbolism in the Twilight of the Apprentice Rebels episode, where again the Sith Temple on Malachor represents the climb to the top, the climb to ascending to be a Sith Lord yet again and getting revenge. Vader enters it so swiftly and so easily. Vader is a true Sith Lord, while on the other hand Maul climbs and yet never reaches the mountaintop. As Dave Filoni explains though, the interesting part of the character of Maul is he is not solely resigned to this life of suffering. This is the life that Maul constantly chooses over and over again, because he is completely consumed by revenge. And it is because he is consumed by revenge that he suffers. If only he ever learned to let go, Maul could become more influential, and I would wager would gain more power than he could possibly imagine. Anyway though, my friends, that is my thoughts as well as Dave Filoni's thoughts and comments on the character of Darth Maul and his progression over the Star Wars saga. In my opinion, one of the most intriguing Star Wars characters ever made. If you made it this far and enjoyed this video, it would really help me out a great deal if you could hit that like button. According to my analytics, a lot of you guys that watch the channel aren't actually subscribed yet. So if you want to stay up to date with everything Star Wars related, you found the right channel, and force choke that subscribe button. As always, my friends, thank you so much for watching. May the Force be with you, and have a great day.